Welcome back to FPL Vortex. The analytical blueprint for Gameweek 35 is officially locked in. We don't deal in gut feelings or reactive moves on this channel. We strip away the noise and let hard data, powered by our custom Poisson expected goals and fixture difficulty rating models, dictate the optimal play. Over the next around 25 minutes, we are executing a strict, 5-point agenda. First, we break down the fixture ticker to spot the macro swings across the schedule. Second, we isolate the exact transfer targets you need to buy and sell this week. Third, we navigate the red flag injury alerts threatening to derail the template. Fourth, we run the numbers to reveal the definitive captaincy matrix for the round. And finally, we unveil the locked-in team reveal for the weekend. Building a resilient squad requires ruthless execution. Let's dive straight into the data and start dismantling the market. The transfer market is a live indicator of where the herd is moving, but our focus is extracting the why behind the data. We'll start by mapping the capital flow into the top 3 targets. Leading the charge is Cherki, Man City's midfielder. The crowd is aggressively shifting their structure, with 255,000 transfers pushing his total ownership to 12.2%. Driven by a projected baseline of 8.2 against Everton away, this volume highlights a clear template shift, backing elite recent form with an exploitable fixture. Second in demand is Gibbs White. Rather than a casual punt, 238,000 managers are systematically locking in the Nottingham Forest midfielder ahead of the Chelsea away matchup. Sitting on an expected return of 11.7, his acquisition reflects a calculated medium-term play, backing elite recent form with an exploitable fixture. His minute security combined with the fixture run makes him a highly logical target. Rounding out the primary targets is Holland. The Man City forward has seen an influx of 197,000 new backers, operating as a strategic hedge against his rising 59.6% ownership. Projected for 5.5 against Everton away, this move is about neutralizing a highly owned threat while backing elite recent form with an exploitable fixture. Capital doesn't just appear, it is actively being stripped from underperforming or ill-fixtured assets. Let's look at where the structural liquidation is happening. Taking the absolute brunt of the sales is Timber. A massive 172,000 managers have entirely lost patience with the Arsenal defender. Flagged out with ankle injury, unknown return date, this is a forced market pivot, liquidating him to fund premium upgrades. He is carrying a fitness flag, so mandate a firm hold until the Friday press conferences confirm his exact status. We are also tracking a heavy sell-off for João Pedro. The Chelsea forward has been shipped out by 157,000 teams this week alone. With his form dropping to 0.7 points per game, managers are trading out uncertain minutes for immediate upside. Finally, patience has completely evaporated for Wilson. Over 133,000 managers have hit the eject button on the Fulham midfielder. This data tells us the broader market views him as a depreciating asset, and his rapidly declining form represents a severe opportunity cost. Watching these transfer trends allows us to let the broader market make the emotional decisions, while we map out the structural inefficiencies. Aligning your transfers with the right data points dictates your trajectory. But identifying market movement only tells half the story. The next section shifts the focus to where the real underlying upside sits. This brings us to the sword and shield approach. Elite managers know you cannot chase upside without a foundation. We initiate with the shields, the high ownership heavyweights with strong fixtures who act as your rank insurance. Looking first at our primary shield, Holland. Operating as the engine for Man City, he sits at a massive 59.6% ownership. With an expected baseline of 5.5 ahead of the Everton away matchup, this is your pure rank protection. You deploy him to avoid a devastating red arrow. Next up is Guehi. As a crucial defender in that Man City setup, his 32.8% ownership means he is an absolute consensus pick. The fixture against Everton away projects a rock-solid 8.2. Going against a heavily backed asset with these underlying metrics is an unnecessary risk. Rounding out our safety net is Gabriel. Taking on Fulham at home, his data profile supports a healthy 5 projection. With 43.6% of the game holding him, he provides vital structural integrity. Secure this defender first, so you can safely gamble elsewhere. With the template locked down, it is time to go on the offensive. Here are the swords, explosive, under-the-radar assets with strong fixtures capable of destroying your mini-leagues. The standout differential right now is Kadioglu. Sitting at a criminally low 0.8% ownership, the Brighton defender is flashing massive upside. The underlying data points to an expected 7.8 return heading into the Newcastle away clash. This is a calculated strike on a vulnerable defense. Then there is Kusanov. He is flying completely under the radar at just 0.6%. What the masses are missing is his lethal potential against Everton away, where the model forecasts a strong 7.5 haul. This is the exact profile of a player who shifts momentum in your favour. Finally, keep a close eye on Weaver. The Brighton midfielder is highly secure in his minutes, yet owned by only 0.6% of managers. Facing Newcastle away, his 7.2 expected points suggest he is heavily underpriced by the market. Moving early on assets like this separates the elite from the pack. Secure the floor, then exploit the ceiling. That structural balance dictates your transfers this week. But player selection only tells half the story, the real upside is hidden in the schedule. Let's shift our focus to the fixture map and see exactly where the next big swings will happen. Let's shift our focus to the advanced fixture difficulty ratings across the next 4 weeks. If you want to know exactly who to target and who to actively avoid for the final stretch of the season, this is the map you need. We aren't just looking at basic opponent strength, we are projecting the underlying expected goals across these 4 weeks. Looking right at the top of the board, 3 clubs offer elite, season-defining value. Leading the pack is Arsenal. They boast a superb average expected goal projection of 2.47. With upcoming matchups against Fulham at home, West Ham away, Burnley at home, Crystal Palace away, the model projects this to be an incredibly easy attacking window, making their core assets mandatory targets. Just behind them sits Man City, carrying an impressive 2.78 rating into a run that includes Everton away, Brentford at home, Crystal Palace at home, Bournemouth away, Aston Villa at home. The underlying numbers scream immediate investment. This is the exact kind of schedule where rank-defining hauls happen. Rounding out the premium targets is Brighton. Their 2.85 difficulty score combined with fixtures like Newcastle away, Wolves at home, Leeds away, Manchester United at home provides a massive green light. Securing their key personnel gives you long-term stability and genuine points upside. On the flip side, the data firmly highlights 3 teams that you must ruthlessly avoid over the long run. Sitting dead last with the most hostile schedule is West Ham. Saddled with a severe 3.17 difficulty mark, they face a gauntlet including Brentford away, Arsenal at home, Newcastle away, Leeds at home. You need to strip your squad of their players immediately before their returns completely dry up. Also trapped in a tactical nightmare is Wolves. Staring down opponents like Sunderland at home, Brighton away, Fulham at home, Burnley away, their 3.25 projection indicates they will be heavily starved of possession. The data dictates a ruthless sell. Completing the danger zone is Burnley. With an alarming 3.35 rating and upcoming clashes against Leeds away, Aston Villa at home, Arsenal away, Wolves at home, their attacking potential is about to hit a brick wall. Pivot your budget away from them right now. Getting ahead of these macro fixture swings is the absolute foundation of building Real rank equity. But mapping out the schedule only tells half the story. Now, we need to find the specific players capable of doing the actual damage. Let's dive straight into the individual attacking numbers. We are now stripping away short-term variance to focus on raw, predictive attacking power. Chasing past points is a trap, true FPL upside comes from sustainable shot volume. This model isolates the exact offensive systems mathematically engineered to generate heavy returns across the next 4 weeks. Sitting comfortably at the top of our attacking projections is Man City, forecasting a massive 7 for expected goals. This isn't a temporary streak, their tactical setup is consistently slicing through defensive blocks. If you aren't heavily invested in their premium forwards, that needs to be your absolute priority. Taking the second spot with an undeniable ceiling is Arsenal, projected to hit 6.7 goals. The metrics confirm they are repeatedly penetrating high-value penalty box zones. This is the exact window to buy into their primary chance creators before the wider market catches on and prices jump. Securing the third elite spot is Crystal Palace, geared to deliver 6.5 goals. Given their pure shot volume and favourable matchups, fading this attack is an unnecessary risk. Locking their key personnel into your starting 11 provides an immediate structural edge. But finding the holes is only half the job, we have to ruthlessly identify the traps. Right now, holding attackers from West Ham is actively bleeding your rank equity. Staring at a bleak forecast of just 4.9 goals, their system is struggling to produce any meaningful big chances. It is a strict sell. The reality is just as harsh for Wolves, who are managing a heavily restricted 4.9 expected goals. The data clearly exposes a massive drop in final third penetration. You need to shift your budget entirely away from their offensive assets before they lose even more value. Anchored at the absolute bottom is Burnley, with a dismal projection of 4.6 goals. Putting any money into this forward line is a complete dead end. They will be starved of service, meaning you can comfortably ignore them for the foreseeable future. The ultimate takeaway here is ruthless resource allocation. Liquidate assets from the bottom 3 to aggressively fund the premium talismans in the top 3. However, fielding a heavy-hitting forward line requires the right foundation. To truly fund these premium attackers, you need a bedrock of defensive clean sheets. Let's flip the pitch and expose the exact defensive walls mathematically capable of shutting out the opposition. Clean sheets are the absolute foundation of any elite FPL structure. We don't rely on luck, we use the Poisson model to calculate the exact probability of defensive shutouts over the next 4 weeks. Establishing themselves as the ultimate defensive fortress is Man City, locking in a massive 36.4% average clean sheet probability. Anchoring your backline with their premium defenders is a non-negotiable. Right behind them sits Arsenal at 30.5%. Their low block is suffocating opponents, providing a highly secure floor for your squad. Completing the premium defensive bracket is Chelsea, commanding a 29.1% projection. These are the defensive assets you can confidently set and forget. Conversely, we must aggressively avoid the backlines that are currently hemorrhaging chances. Leading the danger zone is West Ham, offering a disastrous 23.7% chance of a shutout. Any defensive investment here is dead money. Equally vulnerable is Wolves, sitting at an alarming 23.1% probability. Their shape is constantly exposed in transition, making them immediate downgrade candidates. And finally, Burnley sits at a dreadful 21.5% metric. Strip these defensive assets from your squad before their prices plummet. The key takeaway here is structural efficiency, invest heavily in the top 3 fortresses, and completely defund the bottom 3 civs. However, the best fixtures and the strongest metrics mean absolutely nothing if your players do not make it onto the pitch. Let's immediately address the critical injury alerts and red flags threatening to derail the template. We now turn to the injury and suspension report. Fielding dead capital is the quickest way to hemorrhage rank equity. While the board details all high ownership flags currently disrupting the template, we are isolating the absolute most critical situations you need to monitor. The highest priority alert surrounds Timber. He is categorically ruled out for this fixture window. With 18.6% of the market still holding, data from the live FPL data feed confirms the absence. The official update states ankle injury, unknown return date. Liquidate immediately to avoid the inevitable price drop. Next, we have to address the situation with Liverpool's Ekitike. He is categorically ruled out for this fixture window. With 17.9% of the market still holding, data from the live FPL data feed confirms the absence. The official update states Achilles injury, expected back the 1st of July. Liquidate immediately to avoid the inevitable price drop. Also demanding immediate attention is Salah. Currently tagged with just a 25% chance of featuring, his fitness profile is highly fragile. At 14.5% ownership, the risk asymmetry here is brutal. The live FPL data feed indicate muscle injury, 25% chance of playing. Trusting these minutes without absolute confirmation is a mathematical trap. Moving down the priority list, we are tracking Xavi. He is categorically ruled out for this fixture window. With 2.3% of the market still holding, data from the live FPL data feed confirms the absence. The official update states knee injury, expected back the 1st of January. Liquidate immediately to avoid the inevitable price drop. Rounding out the top 5 threat assessments is Kudus. He is categorically ruled out for this fixture window. With 9.2% of the market still holding, data from the live FPL data feed confirms the absence. The official update states thigh injury, unknown return date. Liquidate immediately to avoid the inevitable price drop. Remember, acting on midweek rumors is how unforced errors occur. Wait for the concrete data drops from the managers on Friday before committing to any reconstructive surgery. We have reached the tactical core of Gameweek 35. This overview maps the current landscape based entirely on immediate predictive metrics, projected goals and clean sheet probability. Let's break down the attacking data. Leading the offensive metrics are Arsenal and Leeds. Both systems are consistently penetrating the penalty area, projecting 1.69 and 1.56 expected goals respectively. If you are debating who gets the armband or a starting spot, anchoring your frontline with their premium assets is a highly logical play. Just behind them, Aston Villa, Chelsea, and Brentford offer excellent alternative routes. Their underlying shot volume remains superb, making their key midfielders and forwards absolute must-starts. Conversely, the data advises strict caution regarding Nottingham Forest, Fulham, and Burnley. Their expected goal forecasts have completely flatlined. If you are holding attackers from these squads, this is where your benching decisions are made for you. Their current tactical setups are struggling to forge meaningful chances, limiting your overall ceiling. Flipping to the defensive side, clean sheets are inherently harder to predict, but the numbers highlight clear structural standouts. Everton sets the standard this week, offering a 36.5% probability of a shutout. Wolves and Man United follow closely, boasting marks of 35 and 34.1%. When staring at your starting 11, these are the backlines you trust to suppress opponent shot quality. Newcastle and Bournemouth also fall into the premium defensive bracket, answering any lingering questions about who makes your final defensive trio. On the opposite end, Brighton, Man City, and Sunderland show alarming defensive fragility. They are consistently yielding high-quality opportunities, pushing their shutout probabilities to the absolute bottom. Hide these defenders on your bench, or better yet, liquidate them entirely. Mapping these extremes solves the weekly manager's dilemma. Confidently start the assets dominating the top end of these metrics, and ruthlessly bench those trapped at the bottom. With the macro team data established, let's zoom in on the specific players ready to capitalize. Now we cut to the elite single game week movers. The model has stripped out injuries, suspensions, and fitness flags. Those concerns belong to the medical room. What remains is pure fixture-driven upside on one side, and template traps on the other. Here are the elite targets. Leading the charge this game week is Gibbs White, the Nottingham Forest midfielder. Stepping into the Chelsea away matchup on a fixture difficulty rating of 3.4, the model projects a baseline of 11.7 expected points. Current effective ownership sits at 11.2%, the data justifies immediate action. The standout acquisition right now is Mavropanos from West Ham. The algorithm locks him in against Brentford away, with a difficulty score of 3.3 and a projected ceiling of 10.3 expected points. With 2.1% of managers already on board, moving now keeps you ahead of the curve. Next on the priority list, O'Reilly of Man City is flashing serious upside. Navigating Everton away on a highly exploitable 2.8 difficulty rating, his expected return sits at a compelling 9.5. His 15.9% effective ownership signals the smart money is already aligned with this call. The data is firmly pointing toward Casemiro. The Man United midfielder cannot be ignored. The fixture against Liverpool at home grades out at 3 on our difficulty scale, supporting a strong 8.7 expected points projection. Sitting at 4.1% template penetration, this is a move the model backs unconditionally. Rounding out the elite target list, Bowen from West Ham presents a compelling mathematical case. Squaring up against Brentford away, the model assigns a 3.3 difficulty and forecasts 8.7 expected points across the round. The 14.9% ownership base confirms he is firmly on the radar. Do not wait on this one. Reallocating capital toward these assets is how structural rank is built. Now let us identify the liabilities that are actively destroying it. Flipping to the danger side, João Pedro from Chelsea is the most urgent structural liability this week. The Forest at home assignment grades out at a punishing 2.7 difficulty, with the model capping his ceiling at just 0.7 expected points. Holding through 42.4% ownership at this profile is a direct threat to your rank trajectory. The analytics are unambiguous. One Bissaka of West Ham is actively bleeding rank equity. Staring down Brentford away on an unforgiving 3.3 difficulty rating, the projection flatlines at a dismal 0 expected points. With 4.4% of the game still anchored to him, liquidating now gets you ahead of the inevitable sell-off. The model flags Pickford as a high-priority exit. The Everton goalkeeper cannot be trusted here. The 3.2 difficulty score against Manchester City at home is telling. His expected return collapses to just 0.2 this round. His 13.4% template presence makes this a high-impact exit. Every manager who holds is leaking points. Patience has completely expired for Rangers. The underlying data paints a damning picture. Facing Everton away on a 2.8 rating, the numbers are unambiguous, a ceiling of 0.5 expected points. That is dead money. Do not let the 9.1% ownership base trap you into an underperforming asset. The model is clear on this. Closing out the avoid list, Mark Guiu from Chelsea is a trap the smart money is already exiting. The algorithm assigns a harsh 2.7 difficulty for the Forest at home clash, generating a bleak 0.3 expected points baseline. Sitting in 5.1% of squads, the structural damage of holding is compounding every single week. Stripping these assets and redeploying into the target list is how rank gets built, ruthless, data-led, and completely free from the noise of recent points chasing. With the macro and micro both locked, let us move to the personal squad blueprint. Game Week 34 is in the books. This round was a targeted free hit execution, a temporary, data-driven squad built to isolate immediate upside and navigate the blanks. Here is how the tactical strike played out. Anchoring the structure between the sticks, Raya was tasked with holding the defensive baseline. The defensive block was mathematically engineered around Virgil, Pedro Porro, and Gabriel. Operating as the creative engine in midfield, Fernandes, Rice, Salah, Wilson, and Xavi carried our primary playmaking threat. Leading the strike force, Bowen and Solanke were deployed to ruthlessly convert the expected goals data. Providing the necessary auto-sub insurance on the bench were Hermansen, Mavropanos, Mukiel and Mané. Fernandes from Man United carried the armband and returned a solid 10 points against Liverpool at home. A respectable haul given the fixture context. The standout performer this game week was Raya from Arsenal, who delivered 10 points against Fulham at home. That is exactly the kind of return that keeps the rank trajectory moving forward. On the flip side, Mukiel from Sunderland blanked completely against Wolves away. One to monitor closely heading into the next game week. When the dust settled, this free hit iteration locked in a final tally of 59 points. A solid return, comfortably above the average. Plenty of positives to carry forward. With the chip successfully played and the squad resetting, it is time to look forward. Let us lock in the master blueprint for Game Week 35. Here is the fully locked blueprint for Game Week 35. Every selection is driven by the Vortex fixture model, no sentiment, no gut feeling, just confirmed data. As per our transfer target plan, we are officially replacing Senesi with Arsenal's Gabriel ahead of the deadline. Between the sticks, we are starting Darlow over Verbruggen to secure the higher clean sheet floor against Burnley. The backline is constructed around O'Reilly, Van Heck, Struij and Senesi, chosen for their fixture security heading into the round. Driving the creative engine in midfield, Gross, Fernandes, Tavernier and Semenyo carry the primary attacking intent. Leading the forward line, Holland and Calvert-Lewin carry our goal threat. The bench cover is provided by Verbruggen, Hill, Palmer and João Pedro, structured to ensure maximum auto-sub protection. The armband is mathematically pinned on Holland from Man City, projecting 5.5 expected points against Everton away. The underlying metrics back this call unconditionally. Fernandes from Man United provides the safety net as vice-captain, projecting 5 expected points against Liverpool at home. If the captain blanks, the vice-captain is positioned to absorb the damage. On the transfer watch list heading into the deadline, here are the names the data is flagging as priority acquisitions. Cherki from Man City, projecting 8.2 expected points against Everton away. Gibbs-White from Nottingham Forest, projecting 11.7 expected points against Chelsea away. Okafor from Leeds, projecting 8.1 expected points against Burnley at home. Bowen from West Ham, projecting 8.7 expected points against Brentford away. These are the assets to monitor closely before the window closes. Get the squad confirmed and locked before the Game Week 35 deadline. Remove the emotion, trust the model, and let the data drive the rank green. We have now reached the chip strategy. Looking at the double Game Week 36 teams, Crystal Palace offers immense value with fixtures against Everton at home and Manchester City away. The data highlights defender Munoz, Richards, and midfielder Sarr as highly efficient acquisitions when weighing their price against expected points. Meanwhile, Manchester City dominates the projections with consecutive home fixtures against Brentford and Crystal Palace. Naturally, Holland, O'Reilly, and Cherki emerge as absolute priority targets given their massive expected point ceiling. Shifting to my plan, the roadmap is locked: wildcard played in Gameweek 32, bench boost played in 33, and free hit played in 34. This perfectly sets up the triple captain chip plan for Gameweek 36 on Holland to fully exploit his expected points projection. However, if your chip stack looks different, the optimal alternate plan is to trigger the wildcard in Gameweek 35 and execute the bench boost in 36. You then deploy either the triple captain or free hit in Gameweek 37, reserving the final chip for Gameweek 38. Navigating this alternate route requires anchoring your squad to elite premiums like Bruno Fernandes and Holland. That brings the analytical blueprint for Gameweek 35 to a close. Let us lock in the final takeaways. First, aggressively attack the high expected goals matchups. Second, execute your essential acquisitions. Prioritizing Cherki allows you to capitalize on elite underlying metrics. Third, avoid the statistical traps by liquidating assets like timber before your rank equity bleeds. Fourth, if your core structure is secure, roll your free transfer to preserve maximum flexibility. Finally, the captaincy is mathematically pinned on Manchester City's Erling Haaland, with Manchester United's Bruno Fernandes acting as your ultimate safety net. If this breakdown sharpened your strategy, hit subscribe, drop a like, and join the Vortex Elite. Remove emotion, execute the optimal path, and let the data drive your rank green.
Good luck!